But let me share this link with you guys. And welcome back, Miss Sisla. I want to share this link, this news story that Slide was trying to bring to our attention that I didn't hear about. But let me go ahead and put this up here on the screen. And
Yes,
before I do that,
ma'am.
I want to make sure I show our little copyright disclaimer.
It was either because I didn't have proof of vaccination by the 2 weeks. They still wasn't even allowing me to sign off on my lease. There was like no loophole, no working with me, no extensions, and I literally had to walk away, meaning that if I were to stay, then it would have been harder for me to find, the next place for me and my kids to live, because now I will have an eviction, under my name. And that's definitely not worth, risking it.
Have you talked to your neighbors, many of which I'm sure are vaccinated? Did they feel threatened by you and your kids?
No. There's also other neighbors that aren't vaccinated as well. And basically, if I didn't tell them what I was going through, they had no clue on what was going on, because they didn't get this notice. They didn't get, hey, this is what we're doing from here on out. They didn't get any of that. So I was surprised with that too, and still is curious on, exactly why 2 weeks prior to them knowing that I was going to renew my lease, because we spoke the first week of August, like they call you up and they let you know, like, hey, Miss Irby, do you plan on renewing your lease? I stated yes. And they mentioned, whenever you find the time, just come down here and sign off on it. And that was that. And then August 17th, I'm leaving the house and I have this notice on my door that's saying, like, hey, you have to show proof of vaccination before you renew your lease. So when I went physically down there to the leasing office, I spoke to the landlord there and I asked them, I said, hey, like, can I see the lease where it states that this is what you guys are doing? This is what, it's going to be from here on out. And they actually told me that it's not in the lease. So again, I was confused on exactly what we're doing or what we're talking about, because I'm like, oh, okay, well, at least they'll have it in black and white. And this is, a signed agreement. And, I have to abide by, whatever my landlord put in place. But they literally told me it's not in the lease. That actually what they told me was it's the same lease that I had the previous year before. And I'm like,
they just added a little.
Okay.
Ain't that crazy? Did the video stop? Oh yeah, that was the end of the video.
So how can you add a caveat as to whether somebody is vaccinated in their home? How I'm not understanding that. How is that part legal? If that wasn't the case prior.
Wow, I am appalled. That is the first time, and I'm so glad. Shout out to YouTuber Slide John, who posted it in the chat and let us know about what's going on with this case, because I did not hear about that. And I swear all day long, even while I'm working, I keep my eye on CNN, MSN News, CNN, everything, looking for good stories to talk about. And that was not, I didn't see that. So now we got landlords threatening to evict people or not renew their leases if they can't show proof of vaccination of the Rona. Like, that can't be legal.
Like I said, what about these people who don't have all of their other vaccinations? Are you kicking them out?
Yeah.
But what about those people that could possibly be allergic to something in a vaccination and for whatever reason they can't get it?
Right.
I think that's unconstitutional, but at the same point, I can understand them wanting to control this thing as much as possible, but to say that someone you know, for I don't know. I mean, I don't know, but it might be what it's coming to with the fact that now we have these different variants that are now affecting babies and that
So
are
whether they
that are
vaccinated or
killing
not,
children.
because see, the thing is with these variants, whether they vaccinated or not, they can still transmit and catch it.
They can still, but the thing of it is, it gives them at least a fighting chance.
Yeah, it does. But
And
see what she mentioned
if the
though.
majority is vaccinated, then that at least lessens the chances of somebody even being able to contract it because that's the herd population thing that they were talking about, herd immunity. Like
Well,
if
if the other
mostly
person is vaccinated, then they shouldn't worry about me.
Well, see, did y'all catch when she says that there were other people in her complexes that were not vaccinated who did not receive no letter or no request?
I didn't hear that.
Yeah, that's what she said.
there are
When they said, have you talked to your other neighbors or what do your neighbors got to say? And she said a lot of them didn't even know, they had no idea, and some of them aren't vaccinated and they didn't receive any requests to show proof. That's what strikes me as bizarre.
Well,
maybe
That's
they
crazy.
didn't know the other people weren't vaccinated, and she might have said something to the wrong person.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering, man. I wish we could talk to her. Like, who told them you weren't vaccinated? Like, I don't just walk around telling people if I'm vaccinated, not vaccinated. I mean, we talk about it sometime here on the show, but I just don't randomly walk up to somebody. Are you vaccinated?
Right.
You know, like
I don't ask my neighbors that. That ain't. I don't.
And you shouldn't be able to force people. Even jobs are not forcing. There's certain jobs, okay? There's certain jobs, like if you're in the health field, you work around children, it's certain jobs that require it, and you either get it or you leave. But for the majority, most jobs, they ain't tripping. They like, hey, get it if you want to get it. But to be a landlord and demand that be done, they either need to put that in the lease. Everybody has to show proof. And that means what? Like who was it? Carmel Diva, you or Miss Sislo, who said that there's another booster or something? They're telling people they should get.
there is another booster, but the booster is for those people that have compromised immune systems, like
Or like underlying health conditions.
No, not just underlying health conditions, but they have their immune systems are actually compromised. Like they might be cancer patients going through chemo, or people with HIV, or people with lupus, or something like that, where their immune systems are weakened already, so they have that booster to go along.
That's like underlying health conditions. Yeah, people who already have health issues.
Underlying health conditions. I have underlying health conditions, but I don't have a weak immune system. So I have, high blood pressure and breathing.
So somebody like you wouldn't be suggested to get the booster.
Pardon me?
So somebody like you wouldn't be suggested to get the booster because your immune system.
Because my immune system is fine.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
I get it. It's just so crazy because it's
they gonna tell me to get it and I ain't getting it.
People still don't know. Like, even if we getting the shots and stuff, like there's no guarantee. I know people personally who still got it after being vaccinated. So it's like no guarantee, but I understand how Miss Sissel said you have more of a fighting chance. But do we really?
And I look at it like it's better to have and not need than to need and not have.
Yeah. And that's why
once you get it, you can't get the booster. I see. My thing is I've been on that bed of affliction, and it was hard. It was a very difficult battle. I don't want anyone to go through that. You know what I'm saying? I don't want nobody I know to even come close. And the anticipation alone will take you out of here because of the fact that you don't know if you're gonna make it or not. And a lot of people think they have gotten over the hump, only to turn that corner and it get a lot worse and end up dying. So that's exactly what happened to that young couple from Detroit. That young couple that was married for 20
Oh, the
years.
husband and wife who both was
The
like, we're
husband
not
and wife,
taking it.
they died a day apart.
Mm-hmm.
That's exactly what happened. He
I
was
remember
getting better. He was getting better. But she took a turn for the worse and she died. And then he turned around and heard about it and had a heart attack.
Oh
And
my.
that's like, remember Karma Diva? That was like that mother and son who died here when it first hit
Yeah.
Nebraska. Remember? It was so
Yeah.
sad. That comedian, I can't remember his
Uh-huh.
name, but he was a
I can't
comedian
either,
and
but
his
I know who
mother
you talking
caught
about.
it. Yep, his mother caught it and then she died, and he caught it, and like 2 or 3 days after she died, he died because they lived together in an apartment, and he died like 3 days after she did, and it was so sad. It was so the community was like all grieving over him because he was a very well known comedian, uh, crazy, but yeah,
I
they
can't
died
think of
like
his
back to
name.
back. I can't remember his name either, but they had a fundraiser for him and through a comedy show, and yeah, it was sad. So I'm like most people. I figure, okay, I guess I feel better having the shot than not having the shot. And like Carmel, even a lot of other people, when it first came out with the shot, this overnight uh uh popcorn shot, or you know, we were kind of skeptical. Like,
I'm
I
still
don't know if we
skeptical.
should get this thing put into us, or not. But then after watching and listening and reading and learning, I figure, what the hell?
I mean, with any medication you put in your body, there is a chance of a reaction.
Right, right,
But
right.
with this, the variables are so unknown. There are, I mean, and I understand this is new, but you don't know what you are putting into your body. You don't
Right.
know what the long-term effects are. You don't know. So,
Uh-huh.
had it, I mean, and I have a compromised immune system for a couple of different reasons, but my son had, I mean, I say it all the time. Had I not looked into my baby's eyes and seen that fear in his eyes, I would not have gotten it. I wouldn't. It was
Because
for
it's
my
scary.
kids.
When you have it, it's when you have it, it's kind of easy to explain why you would recommend a shot. Like Miss Sislo had it. Her daughter was in the hospital for months. You know, a lot of people done had it and thought, am I gonna live? Am I gonna die? You know.
Yeah. And I mean, I done had lots of family members that done had it.
Hmm, hmm.
And that's not to say that I didn't, I'm not one of them people that don't think it can never, never happen to me.
Right.
Hell, every time I take a step outside, I'm like, damn, is it going to happen to me?
Exactly. Exactly.